A brewing storm threatens to shake the foundations of the sport as a fierce battle over the charter system and revenue sharing unfolds. Will the delicate balance between teams in NASCAR be shattered, or can a solution be found to ensure the future of stock car racing? Stay tuned to Nascar Zone to discover the outcome of this epic clash in this video. The serene expectation of engines roaring to life at Daytona International Speedway was overshadowed not just by rain, but by an intensifying conflict within NASCAR's echelons. This wasn't merely about weather delaying the much-anticipated start of the 2024 Cup Series season. It was symbolic of a deeper, brewing storm involving NASCAR's leadership and its teams. Central to this tempest is a dispute over the charter system and revenue sharing, elements crucial to the sport's future sustainability and growth. NASCAR's charter system, introduced in 2016, was designed as a mechanism to provide teams with guaranteed participation in races, ostensibly to foster financial stability and incentivize long-term commitment. However, the expiration of the original charter agreement at the start of 2024 has left NASCAR with the discretion to alter the program, while teams have the option to seek new circuits. This flexibility, however, has become a point of contention. Teams argue that the current revenue-sharing model, particularly in light of a lucrative new media rights deal set to begin in 2025, falls short of compensating them fairly for their contributions to the sport's success. At the heart of the conflict is a demand for a more equitable distribution of the sport's burgeoning revenues, spurred by the new media rights deal, which significantly increases NASCAR income. Teams, feeling sidelined by a system that sees them grappling with escalating operational costs, have rallied behind the hiring of heavyweight antitrust lawyer Jeffrey Kessler. Known for his high-profile cases and successes in challenging industry giants, Kessler's involvement underscores the team's determination for a fairer share and more permanent charters, suggesting a readiness for legal battle if necessary. The absence of NASCAR representatives from crucial negotiations further complicates the dialogue. This conspicuous absence not only strains relations, but also casts a shadow over the collective effort to advance the sport. Meanwhile, whispers of a potential breakaway series hint at the depth of the rift, threatening to fragment the sport and disturb its fan base. The NASCAR charter system, a cornerstone of the sport's modern era, was instituted to stabilize and ensure the competitive and financial health of the teams within NASCAR's unique ownership and operational framework. Unlike most sports leagues, where teams operate as franchises within a collectively owned structure, NASCAR remains singularly owned by the France family, descendants of the sport's founder, Bill France Sr. This centralized ownership has historically allowed the France family to dictate the sport's direction, reaping the financial benefits while also shouldering the operational cost. Charters were introduced as a transformative solution to a long-standing imbalance. Designed to guarantee teams' participation in races, these charters were meant to provide teams with a sense of unity and security for investment. At its inception, 36 charters were distributed based on teams' historical participation and performance, offering them not just a guaranteed spot in the races, but also a share of the revenue generated, particularly from television rights. Now, before we continue, kindly make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for each and every update. The distribution and financial implications of these charters have become a pivotal aspect of team operations. Initially distributed for free, the value of these charters has skyrocketed, with transactions reaching into the tens of millions, reflecting not only their market value, but also the escalating cost of competing at the highest levels of stock car racing. This financial dynamic has, however, led to discontent among team owners. Despite the revenue generated from charters and the substantial payouts from race participation, the economics of running a successful NASCAR team often outstrip the income provided by the system, leaving teams dependent on sponsorships to bridge the gap. This dependency has been exacerbated by the anticipation of a new media rights deal set to commence in 2025. Expected to significantly increase NASCAR's income, the deal has ignited a dispute over the revenue-sharing model. Teams argue for a larger slice of the pie, pointing to the increased value and the cost associated with competing. The contention isn't just about the numbers, but also about the principles of equity, investment return, and the future of the sport. As the original charter agreement expired, the flexibility had granted NASCAR to alter the program and the corresponding ability of teams to explore new circuits have underscored the urgency of renegotiating the terms. Teams are pushing for permanent charters, which would offer them long-term security and stability, an essential factor for planning and investment. However, NASCAR's reluctance to relinquish control over the charters and its vision for the sport's future governance have led to a significant impasse. The growing discontent among NASCAR teams over the charter system and revenue sharing has reached a pivotal moment. With the introduction of the charter system in 2016, NASCAR aimed to create a more stable and financially secure environment for teams. However, the system's implementation has not fully assuaged the financial challenges teams face, leading to a significant dispute centered on economic fairness and long-term sustainability. The crux of the team's grievances lies in the perceived imbalance in revenue sharing, especially in light of the new media rights deal commencing in 2025. This deal, heralded for its potential to significantly boost NASCAR's income, has raised questions about the equitable distribution of these increased revenues. Teams argue that the current model leaves them disproportionately dependent on sponsorship to cover operational costs, which are estimated to exceed the revenue generated by charters and race winnings. Central to the team's demands is the issue of charter permanency. Under the current system, charters, which guarantee participation in races and a share of the revenue, have a limited lifespan and require renewal. This impermanence creates uncertainty for teams, hindering long-term planning and investment. The teams advocate for making charters permanent, arguing that this would provide the stability necessary to secure and enhance their financial and competitive futures. The hiring of Jeffrey Kessler, a renowned antitrust lawyer, by the team signifies the seriousness of their stance. Kessler's involvement underscores the team's preparedness to challenge NASCAR legally to achieve a more favorable negotiation outcome. His track record in dismantling entrenched practices in sports and other industries highlights the potential for significant changes in how NASCAR operates and also how it engages with its teams. Meanwhile, NASCAR contends that the team's demands, particularly regarding permanent charters and a larger share of the media rights revenue, do not fully account for the costs associated with hosting races, maintaining tracks, and promoting the sport. The organization argues that the revenue generated from media rights and other sources is reinvested into the sport to cover these costs and to support its growth and development. This argument underscores NASCAR's broader concern about ensuring the sport's financial sustainability and its ability to continue attracting fans and sponsors. So that's all for this video. Hit that subscribe button for more NASCAR updates.